most times when one begins to awaken on their spiritual journey, people do experience this new light awakening, the inner light awakening. It is true that inner experience takes place, but these are the initial moments of the very start for a grand process to take place until one finally reunites with divine light. In fact, Meher Baba, when he re-encountered his own self-realization, he said, when the veil was torn, I became God consciousness. Yes, in the midst of that moment, the realization is there. And I experienced, he said, this greatest electric-like shock. And this was followed by an intense darkness. And everyone can also relate to that, because since the first awakening takes place, spiritual beings undergo this immense, deep procedure of touching upon the darkness within, to the very bottom of that darkness, until finally one unites with the light, with the true light, with the Nor, Shabd, divine light. So Meher Baba has also spoken of this since the first awakening to God realization, that after that came followed by intense darkness. This is the illumination and the purification of all the darkness within. Because that electric-like shock, yes, that initial light that activates within, or is more likely said that the divine grace touches upon you. Yes, when the divine contact, the first contact takes place, when the divine contact happens, this creates like severe ripples of vibration, of light and sound. And this plunges the soul into the intense darkness. Some experience this or know of an ego death, but most of you may already know that you may have experienced thousands of ego deaths, not only one. It becomes a normal way of living. How many times you're gonna die and be afraid of it? Not anymore. You just allow the ego death to happen again and again and again. And every time this ego death takes place, what is followed? What comes next? More overwhelming effulgence of this light of God. This is why at a certain point you for yourself will realize that every ego death is a blessing. A blessing from God. Another gift of grace. In fact, Meher Baba has said that if you want to see God and to become one with God, then the only solution is to catch hold of my Daman. And Daman is another word for his clothing. Yes, which that signifies surrender to God. Surrender. Surrender to God. This is how the dissolution takes place. This great illusion of separatedness. So you can mention any idea, any core fixation you have, yours or others. It doesn't matter what they are, what fixations you have. It doesn't matter what type of personality type you are. When you look at the bottom of that, at the very bottom, at the root of that fixation, of that ego identity, there you see separation. That's the truth. Separation is at the core of all suffering. In Meher Baba, his teachings were very disciplined in this way. He really placed a lot of discipline on his devotees because he really tested them very strongly to see the strength of their faith, to see the strength of their trust in God. And this is the way we can all measure the degree of our true surrender, our faith in God, our trust in the will of God. You can measure this by simply being honest with yourself, to recognize the degree of your suffering that you play out throughout your every living moment. This is exactly how you can measure yourself. There's no other way but to be honest. Because this true surrender, it's quite a discipline.